Fashion is the most powerful art. It is a movement, design, and architecture all in one. It shows the world who we are and who we'd like to be. So, fashion should be a form of escapism and not a form of imprisonment. So, I would like to introduce my topic, Fashionopolis Center. Fashion has always been a repetition of ideas. What makes it new is the way we put it together. So, what does the term Fashionopolis mean? Fashionopolis is a mixed-use project combining unique, futuristic, and varied project components. As India is one of the fastest growing countries in the world, and Indian fashion is recognized as one of the tremendous fashion industries, the demand of fashion in and around the country has risen drastically. So this is a graph showing the top 10 cities of fashion colleges in India, from which we can see that Bangalore has the most number of colleges. And these are some of the major fashion institutes in India. And this map shows the major fashion institutes in Bangalore, from which we can see that, that most campuses are located towards the center of Bangalore. So why Bangalore consists of such a lot of fashion campuses? It is due to the dual advantage of rich industrial exposure from creative designing spaces of world-class standard. A few major fashion institutes in Bangalore were looked upon to understand the development of over the years. That is NIF Bangalore, JD Institute, and Army Institute. Now, coming to the aim of the project, the aim of the project is to explore the depth of the Fashion Institute and combine spaces and events that are unique and functional to the fashion world. The objectives are to create better study spaces, spaces to interact with fashion-related spaces, to reduce the waste caused by clothes and other unnecessary solutions. So these are some of the scope and limitations of the project, and this is the methodology where I'll be focusing on feasibilities, site and case studies, the area programming, idea development, zoning, special topic, design development, and the final design. Now moving to the feasibility project of the project, what is fashion, the importance of fashion, the effect on society, fashion over the years, fashion design, what is a fashion design, what is a fashion institute, and the experience of a fashion institute, and the after effects on fashion and its solution, which led to Fashionopolis Center. The Fashionopolis Center, so based on the study, the Fashionopolis Center consists of three major components. That is the fashion campus, the Expo Square unit, and the recycling unit. And in order to provide this project, I've chosen my site in Bangalore near Electronic City. So the development of Electronic City and major road networks studied, which led me to the site in Kathimandra village and Somanhalli village of the Ankel block. Now coming to the site analysis, the site is located in Somanhalli village near the Christ CMI Public School, Bangalore. The site consists of 22.5 acres. The site belongs to the public sector of Karnataka government, in which the site is being proposed by the government of Karnataka for the development of an institution purpose. So this is a context within a 5-kilometer radius from the site. So this is the land use map of Bangalore, from which we can see that the built use of has increased from 7.9 to 93% over the years. So coming to the land use map of Electronic City, we can see that the city consists of more commercial and IT buildings and very few institutional buildings. Now, coming to the site context, the distances from Bangalore centers, Electronic City, and from the nearby villages to the site. And now, in the adjacent site context, on the northern side of the site is the temple, of which one is a Hanuman temple, and on the southern side is the Christ CMI Public School, with plantations like eucalyptus grapes, jacktree, etc. on the east and western side. There are electrical lines that run through the main road. Then there is also a water channel that runs through the site, which passes through the Christ CMI Public School to the Muthanallur Lake, which is one of the main water sources of the area and for vegetation. The water channel has lost its connection in some parts of the site, as the site was filled with mud for plantation purposes. Here are some of the pics and sections of the site. Now coming to the vegetation mapping, the main vegetation in the site is of eucalyptus plantation in the center, and at the edge thick vegetations like jack tree, coconut tree, bombax tree, etc. Due to the high temperature during the months of March to May, the leaves of eucalyptus trees are dried. And this is the land use map of the Somnahalli village and the main roads to the site with the nearby water bodies to the site. Now coming to the sun and wind path, the site is oriented in the east-west direction and the predominant wind direction is southwest to northeast direction. So building should be oriented based on the wind direction. The soil present in the site is loamy and red soil. So any kind of plantation and trees can be grown. So this is the slope analysis where maximum space in the site can be built. The drainage pattern of the site. Now coming to the SWOT analysis, some of the strength of the site is that it's located in Bangalore, which is known as the fashion capital of India. It is also located in an area with proper vegetation and proper ventilation. The site consists of an existing water channel that runs through the site. Then the building should be designed in the southwest direction based on the wind direction. Then also the weakness of the site is it does not consist of any purchase stores that are necessary for students within a radius of 6.2 kilometers. As there are plots that are under constructions or that are used for vegetation, the lands are being filled, which causes the loss of connectivity of water channel. So heat is one of the major factors of the site. So the material used for construction should be done accordingly. There is no proper visual connectivity from one end to the other end of the site, as the site is of 22.5 acres. Now the opportunities in the site is, it is located near the electronic city, which is a highly developing area which helps to make the project a more successful one. Maximum natural shadings can be used while designing. Any kind of trees can be grown due to the rich soil content, and more views should be oriented towards the water channel and creating more seating and interaction spaces. Now coming to the threat, while designing buildings, it should be designed placed at a proper distance from school to avoid disturbances. The amount of eucalyptus trees should be minimized as it requires more water than the rest of the vegetation. Now coming to the case studies, there are 5 case studies, 3 literature and 2 life studies. The first one is the Pearl Academy, which is located in Jaipur. The reason why I have chosen Pearl Academy is due to its passive climatic control design, where they have used jali walls to control the amount of heat entering into the building. It also has passive cooling techniques to combat the desert climate and other various climate control methods such as an open courtyard, water bodies, and step wells. So in the analysis, we can see that 30% of the site is covered with plants, 4% covered with water, 100% locally available materials were used for construction, and the space distribution is very effective throughout the building. The second case study that I have chosen is Central St. Martin, which is located in London. So the main reason why I have chosen this is because of its interaction with the water body and the use of skylights in the hallways and in the design classrooms. Also coming to the analysis, there are more interactive connected spaces as the campus not only consists of fashion design but also other courses. Now moving to the third literature study, I have chosen the Sabyasachi Mukherjee store, which is situated in New Delhi. The idea of choosing the project was due to the symmetrical planning with stairs that divides the 2 blocks and that also acts as an elementary feature to the site. Though the exteriors are very simple, the interiors are its contrast with bright and decorative elements. Now coming to the life case studies, the first life study that I have chosen is KSID, which is located in Kollam. The architecture style of KSID is of vernacular architecture of Kerala. So in the idea development process, the site has been divided into different stages, and based on these developments, the zoning process is the final design output. where buildings have been designed based on public, semi-public, and private zones. So moving to the plans, the administration block consists of a water body. It is not only an elementary feature, but it also acts as a gathering space. The space between the Periera lab and the workshop is a buffer space which is used as a work exhibition space or for interactions. The library, textile, and computer lab block acts as a clock tower as it is the tallest building in the site. And this is the circulation movement of different user groups within the site. The buildings are designed with north light, allowing maximum natural light entering the building. The second light case study that I have chosen is NIFT, Bangalore. The concept of the building is developed based on the golden spiral or based on snail shell. The courses offered here are bachelor's in design, bachelor's in technology. So these are the built and unbuilt spaces, zoning, and the drainage pattern in the campus. The campus consists of a number of blocks, that is from A to I. So in the administration block, the building is divided into public, semi-public, and private zones vertically. There are courtyards or open spaces between classrooms, allowing maximum natural light and ventilation entering into the spaces. So the building is actually designed incorporating built and open spaces in an equal ratio. The interior walls of the building consist of a number of art and design done by students. Now, coming to the comparative analysis, we can see that the 5 case studies have different planning approach. The Pearl Academy and NIFT Bangalore consist of more open spaces in the center, though the buildings have different shapes. In Central St. Martin, it is a long corridor of skylights. In Sabyasachi, it is the symmetric planning, and in KSID, it is the traditional style of planning. Factors like development around the zone, architecture styles, and form will be looked upon, in which the Pearl Academy consists of a simple rectangular form in its exterior that are of jali walls, and the Central St. Martin is of rectangular brick buildings with seating spaces facing the water body with long transparent roof that runs through the corridor. In Sabyasachi, it is the symmetrical building plan with covered arch windows with brick walls. And in NIFT, it is the pavilion design and with landscape detailing. So the pie chart shows the programs, and these are the circulation of the user groups in each building. So now coming to the planning, in Pearl Academy, the ground floor is used as an informal area for students, then short vertical mass in comparison to horizontal mass, inward looking arrangements, and placement of functions on different levels vertically. Now in the Central St. Martin, there are 11 studios of different programs. There are also workshops, offices, lectures, seminar halls, and skylights, and ETFE roofs. In KSID, the spaces are divided into public, semi-public, and private spaces. A number of openings have been provided between each building, providing proper lighting and ventilation to each space. Buildings have been designed at a proper distance from one another. And coming to NIFT, maximum interaction spaces have been created both visually and access-wise, and each space was designed creating different feel for students and teachers. And these are the materials used in the buildings, and most of the materials used are locally available materials. Now coming to the inference, the building is designed in a different manner based on climate and form and its construction strategy, climatic response, spatial allocations, all rely on natural environment factors. In Central St. Martin, there are different activities within the building with Fashion Institute at the topmost floor. And in Sabyasachi, the grand entrance is the main highlight of the building, something that comes to the human eye, unique and very attractive. Now in KSID, the entrance of the building leads to a traditional style of building that consists of water body and a lamp, giving a welcoming feeling. Whereas in Neft Bangalore, the form of the building is one of the first thing that comes to the human eye. The building consists of an open and semi-open spaces equally, allowing maximum natural light entering into the building, creating more interactive spaces. Now, coming to the area programming, there are three main functions within the site. That is the Fashion Institute, the Expo Square unit, and the Recycling unit, which totally requires an area of buildable of 12,000 to 13,000 square meters. So in order to understand the courses and the type of classrooms required, area programming has been done, in which the main courses provided are fashion design, fashion marketing, fashion communication, and fashion styling, with its subdivision of UG and PG courses. So while looking into the classroom spaces, certain classrooms require studios, while some requires only study spaces and some requires conference or discussion panel spaces. So in the Expo Square unit, it is the exhibition plus trade center. It requires a number of stores and other exhibiting spaces. Whereas the recycling unit is a space where clothes are being collected and then recycled using different techniques. So the main technique used here is that of the tie and dye process, which requires more of an outdoor space. Now coming to the design considerations, first user groups were identified, of which 60% of the site consists of students, 15% faculty, 20% society workers, and 5% buyers. Which space? And also I try to identify the social and environmental activities of each user groups. So based on the user groups, I conducted an online study of 3 different colleges in Bangalore to understand what kind of spaces and which spaces the students would have preferred in their campuses. So based on the study, I have inferred that the most interaction happens within the classrooms and corridor spaces, and they preferred more outdoor spaces. So coming to the design considerations based on the inference of site study and case study. So first is the maintaining the water channel, then provide buffer spaces between different activities, then provide more pedestrian pathways and reduce the vehicular movement, use locally available materials, and treat the edge of the water channel, providing maximum interaction between different user groups, and make the design a climate responsive design. Now, coming to the zoning, a number of factors were looked upon. That is, first the setback was looked upon in the site. Then the site was then divided based on the natural feature, that is a water body, which I then divided the site based on the privacy of the user groups, that is public, semi-public, and private. So based on the natural elements, that is the vegetation, wind, water body, and the slope of the site was then divided, placing the buildings according to the slope and the wind direction. So the benefit of the site is that the wind direction and the slope of the site are in the same directions. Now coming to the main axis of the site, or the main entry to the site. So the main entry to the site has been provided based on the user group criteria. That is, most students might come through the Chikatimandra village as the nearest bus stop is there. Then from the main axis, 2 parallel sub-axes have been created to enter the different functions. Now, placement of Expo Square unit. Expo Square unit is a commercial building, so it requires direct contact with the road. So keeping the setback in mind, it is kept at a particular distance. So to create a direct connection, a plaza has been introduced while designing, creating a link between the road and the Expo Square unit. Now coming to the campus block, the campus block consists of 4 different activities, that is the academic, administration, library, and cafeteria. So placing the building considering the slope and then changing it based on the connection patterns. So the recycling unit is actually placed in the private part of the site as it requires dyeing and drying spaces, which requires privacy. So as the spaces are kept, as the spaces are zoned, I wanted to connect those spaces with a building. So those, like the Expo Square unit is connected to the campus building through auditorium. So the auditorium can be used by the campus as well as for the public. The campus is then connected to the recycling unit via the cafeteria area, and the campus is connected to the hostel block through via grounds. Now, based on this, the road has been developed, the road pattern has been developed, which then, from which the academic block, which is the main block, which consists of more user groups, have been slightly shifted parallel to that of the water channel, allowing maximum view to all sides of the site. So based on these, the final zoning that I've derived is here, that is the plaza at the main entry, which connects the road to the Expo Square unit, which connects the Expo Square unit and the campus building is the auditorium. And the campus building is connected to the recycling unit via the cafeteria, and the campus is then connected to the hostel block via the ground spaces. And also the wind direction and the buildings are placed according to the slope of the site. So this is the block model that was done based on the zoning. Now coming to the master plan. The site consists Now coming to the master plan, the site consists of a main entry over here and sub entry with service entry over here. Since the site is designed for different user groups, 4 security cabins have been provided, that is 2 at the main entry, 1 in the service entry, and 1 over here to regulate the movement of the user groups. So the main entry which leads the campus building with the pedestrian pathway of 2 to 2.5 width on either side, with one side sculptures, and the directs their way to the campus building, where the campus building has a false facade design with a water body in the center of the road to differentiate the entry and exit of the vehicular movement. Now, coming back to the secondary entry, which is the plaza, a large pedestrian pathway with a number of seatings and stalls, well-shaded trees are designed, and plaza is designed in the highest portion of the site. So while designing the main sub-axis are converted as pedestrian pathways, where the first sub-axis leads to the OAT, and the second, which is in the campus block, leads to the display area. The main axis that leads to the residential zone, and the faculty housing, which then reaches the recycling unit. So a number of seating and gathering spaces between each activities to increase interactions have been provided. Now coming to the layers, in the landscape elements, some landscape elements are the seating, walkways, finding water bodies, and playgrounds have been designed. And then these are the built heights of the buildings within the site. The road hierarchy with the number of parkings within the site, and the setbacks and the circulation of the site. Now, the different active spots in the site have been identified, which is the main the campus is the main active zone throughout the day, and the recycling is active throughout the day, whereas the Expo Square unit is active during the evenings and nights. So coming to a design feature, a false design frame has been designed at required spaces, that is in a crisscross manner, placed at irregular intervals within a frame. So the material used for this is of eucalyptus wood as a symbolic representation to the trees that were in the site. So now coming to the individual plans, Expo Square unit has 2 wings separated by the stairs. So the ground floor is designed. For more retail stores and Supermarket, restaurant, and upper floor is designed for smaller for small events and restaurants and juice counters. So these are the sections of the Expo Square unit and the views. The Expo Square unit is the first building which is seen from the road. So a false facade has been designed which is similar to that of the campus building. So this is the plaza which connects the road to that of the Expo Square unit, and the roof of the Expo Square unit is of glass pavilion design. So now coming to the individual campus block, the campus consists of 4 units: that's the administration, academy, lab, and cafeteria area. So the main pedestrian pathway leads. So these are connected by the main pedestrian pathway, the main axis. Then there's a formal entry towards the administration building, whereas the entry to the academic building is of an informal manner, with corridors of the academic block that acts as a display or exhibiting areas for each classrooms, so making the corridors a more interactive one for design. Then the classrooms designed here are of different types based on the area programming, and at the end of the classrooms is the library, which not only consists of reading spaces but also consists of studios, mezzanines, and other workstations. The classrooms. So there are different classrooms based on the area programming of this is a conference classroom. It's a classroom with studio spaces and that is connected to that of the corridor spaces for a better view. And this is a design classroom with the skylight being provided. So the building also consists of different active cores within the site. So the central core, that of the water body, which is not only an elementary feature, but it also acts as a gathering and seating space. And then the second one is a student activity core, which is adjacent to that of the academic block, providing maximum outdoor seating and discussion areas for students and teachers. And the third one is the football ground and lab spaces with walkways that leads to the water channel. Now these are some of the sections, and over here we can see that foldable jali walls have been used instead of the use of windows in classrooms. Now coming to the first and second floor plan, we can see that in the first floor, classrooms like fashion communication, fashion marketing have been designed, whereas in the second floor, it's fashion design classrooms with skylights being provided. So these are the views to the campus and the section. So this is an aerial view, that is the administration building, the academic building, the central core of the campus, the student active core of the area with the playground opposite to it. And the main vision from entering the site is actually towards the display area and the labs and workshop spaces, which is directed to the water body. Now coming to the recycling unit. The recycling unit consists of a number of offices and workstations and also consists of outdoor spaces. It also, so while for a person entering to the recycling unit from the service area, the first vision is towards the gathering space, which is adjacent to that of the recycling unit, provided for maximum seating and interaction between user groups. Now coming to the auditorium and OET plan. The auditorium, the pathway in front of the auditorium is actually a pedestrian pathway, which is then converted as a vehicular movement when there is functions in the auditorium. And the seatings in the OET is of regular seating styles to blend the area with the surrounding. And also pedestrian pathways have been provided around the auditorium and the OET region. Now coming to the individual residential block space, there are service roads being provided according to the mess to the hostel blocks, that is the boys hostel and the girls hostel. And the boys hostel and the girls hostel are connected to each other with the court in the center with seating and walkways the either ends. And this is the faculty housing with 4 units of 3 floors each, of 3 floor, and the main section and views. Now coming to my special topic was chosen based on the natural feature of the site, that is the water body. And as the water in the water channel varies during the season, making the channel dry and flood during summer and rainy seasons respectively, different kinds of seating and walkway pathways have been designed at the edge of the water channel. So coming to the different types, so seating and walkways based on the user group usage, then based on the bridge connection, the connecting the campus to the auditorium building via the bridge, then seating adjacent to the academic block areas, then walkways and OIT spaces that's connected to the water channel, then walkways for the campus and lower surfaces. So this is actually the lowest surface for the water body where the water might rush and may enter into the site. So this area has been converted, has been the lowest portion of the site, allowing and which is designed with soil, reducing the amount of water entering into the site. Then at the entry of the providing walkways at the entry of the water channel, and the road connecting the parking lot to that of the Expo Square and Auditorium building, and the seating, the OET seating and walkways on either side of the water channel. So from this is a water channel and the different kinds of seating with the bridge connecting the campus and the OET and auditorium space with with an OET having a different type of seating spaces and walkways that runs through the edge of the water channel with the lowest portion of the site. So these are some of the aerial views of the site. Thank you.